With me in the studio now is Alam Ahmad, president of the World Association for Sustainable Development. There are real fears about there being a shortage of drinking water. This is really as basic as a dispute can get anywhere in the world. Do you see any resolution in sight?
I think the issue is that this is quite a big project, and I think it got the potential to help the entire African region or the East African. But I think there is lots of background to this. I think the dispute is actually still, if you like, on hold. We don't know when it's going to explode, really. Because number one, there is legal dispute between Sudan. It will happen. I know now it's calm, but there is a dispute on the land itself where this dam is actually being built. There's another issue about transparency, about the risk, the technical assessment of the project when it was established. There are lots of, if you like, very credible material available now came out, including MIT published paper about the technical aspects of the land itself in terms of the flooding, the future prospects of destroying the whole area if it's flooded on this Benishangul area, and so on. From Egypt point of view also, there's still talking about dispute about the technical issues. I can hear this morning, and also about. So it's quite a very complicated issue.
This is the problem now, isn't it? It's very complicated. So you have a dispute over a legal dispute over the land
which is going to explode, really.
Which it's built on, which is in Sudan.
Yes.
And then you have also very contentious are the technical risks that you describe.
Yes. And the issue is, I think when we talk about negotiation, when you go for a negotiation to the table of negotiation, you have to be prepared of giving and taking away. The problem here, fundamentally, we're talking about people's lives. And I think if we don't get to the bottom of that in the first, I think there's two issues that have to be solved first. The dispute over the land, it has to be resolved, number one, because this is about people living in this Benishangul and so on. And secondly, we need to get to the bottom if this project is technically sound. And on this particular item, I think we need to listen to the experts.
So how long is this going to take? I mean, is the current forum for negotiations...
I think the problem is...
Is it just too much of a challenge?
It's too much of a challenge because we're talking about a project already halfway through the completion. And
it's a bit late to have these discussions now.
And this project already consumed a lot of money and already late. So imagine we're talking about something already on the ground. Imagine this is where the dispute getting very, very nasty if in the next few...
How nasty could this get? Because Ethiopia and Egypt are two of the region's most populous and most powerful countries. How much of a threat could all this be to regional stability?
I think, to be honest, it could be. Because at the moment, Sudan, rather than playing its role as part of this whole negotiation, is more of a mediator between Egypt and Ethiopia. And that shouldn't be that case. And the problem is, here we're talking about a project which is lacking some kind of transparency. We have been, even in Jazeera, another of your studio I think 2 months ago, we were discussing this.
Right.
The argument is coming out from people who are top experts in occupational health, on legal issues. So the dispute...
Do you see this just carrying on for years? Because how is it now? There's going to be talks in Washington.
Yes.
So how can the international community help to bring about a fair and an equitable settlement? Is there a risk that, say, Washington's involvement could make things worse?
Well, first, I think that's a good question. The first thing the international community can do is to engage in a very transparent, independent assessment of the visibility of the project itself. And secondly, possibly also the international community could engage in an international mediation to find out exactly if this dispute on the land is correct or not. And number three, where we have to go back to the international expert, what can we do if it tends to be this project is being built without sound engineering and environmental assessment and technical assessment? If for example, we found that, we need also to go back to the expert to tell us how can we solve this. That's where the problem is. It's something growing.
I don't think we can solve it in this interview, but thank you very much. I do appreciate
My pleasure.
You've helped us understand it a bit better. It is a fascinating story.